And anyway, your descendants I give this land from the river of Egypt to the great river. He describes the address, in other words, and you'll find these many people over here. So you can carry on. Again. What is the land he was talking about? He was talking about Canaan. The promised land was Canaan. And that consists of a huge area उस ज़माने में देश वगैरह नहीं थे. The present countries that we are talking about was not there at all. So now, presently it's a part of Jordan, Egypt, Lebanon, Syria and Israel. In today's political scenario, yes. Anyway, however, it took a long time before the Israelis could subdue Canaanites, etc. वो छोड़िए बात. आगे जाइए. I'll come back to all these things. So he leaves from here. He leaves from here. Who? Who leaves from here? Abraham. I'm very happy with you. And he goes in the search of the promised land. Okay? This is plain only because there were no countries formed at that point in time. 4,000 years old story. Okay? Again. Here is our friend Abraham, who is leaving with his entire family. उस ज़माने में कार वगैरह तो थी नहीं. He used to take his घोड़े, गाड़ी जो भी हो गए, he must be having some sheep, some cattle, and he took it and he left Ur. Yes. And this is the route he took, sir. He went from here to Haran, came down to Jerusalem, went down to Egypt at one point in time and came back to Jerusalem. Stop it at that, okay? And he came down to a place called Beersheba. I'm making it as simple as possible. This is Dead Sea. I'm coming to everything one by one. Don't want to confuse you. Yes, sir. Again, Abraham left Ur with his wife Sarah and his servants in tow, following the God's wish, and he wandered for 10 years. From Ur, he started wandering in search of promised land. Who was with him? Sarah. A very old man. He had no dog. He had no child. In those days, Sarah was not like the wives of today. Sarah had a midwife, maid, in other words. She goes to Abraham and says, Abraham, if you can't get child from me, you can have her as a wife and have a child. Today's wife will not accept all these things. But in those days, things were probably a part of the social ethos. So what does she do? She says, take this wife, and she offers her maid called Hagar. Remember these words, Hagar. Sarah, Ibrahim, Sarah married. Hagar was Sarah's maid. She tells Ibrahim, Bhaiya, inse shaadi kar lo. Forget the shadi part of it, you can have a child. And he gets a child. And his first child is Ishmael. How old was he? 86 years old. Don't ask me questions. Don't ask me questions. There will be enough doctors here and common sense will not allow you to accept it. Yes, sir. Well, anyway, he gets his first child called Ishmael. And God tells him, I will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly with 12 princes. And shall he beget, and I will make him the great nation. These are biblical way of writing it. It is not a right English that we are understanding it. But you have to go into the deeper aspect to understand this English. In short, God also tells him, भैया तुमको तो बच्चा हो गया है, तो उसको मैं 12 प्रिंसेस दूंगा, उस बच्चे को और भी 12 बच्चे होंगे, और you will have a huge country to yourself. आगे, divine promise number 2. पहला promise क्या था? यहाँ से निकल जाओ, you can go and have a promise. बच्चा होने के बाद बोलते हैं भैया उसको बच्चे को उसके और भी 4-12 बच्चे बनेंगे और उसको he will be ruling over a huge kingdom. When Ishmael was 13, God के साथ उनकी agreement होगी, covenant. And what is the now covenant? He says the only way of doing it is on permanent basis I will see that all my children are circumcised. And so the Muslims circumcise themselves, so do the Jews do that as children. Okay? So when he was 13, who? Ishmael. He says, I am going to be in agreement with God, and to prove that agreement, which is on permanent basis, I will circumcise my child. Okay? Yes. God, on having gotten that, at the age of 86, blesses him with the child of his own from Sarah. Okay? And these are all Old Testament. I am not talking. Okay? It's not a scoop. It's not mirror scoop. And the name of that child is Isaac. Now remember this. Ibrahim, Sarah, Hagar का बच्चा, इस्माइल और सारा का बच्चा 13 साल के बाद Isaac. Correct? Very clever. आगे चलिए. What was his age?
86.
86 plus 13, 99. Don't ask me questions again. But as luck would have it, things have not changed for the last few thousand years. मत्सर होता है ना औरतों का. Sarah can't handle the fact that there can be another woman in my husband's life. So she drives away Hagar and Ishmael out of their house. And here is Sarah and Abraham driving away Hagar and Ishmael out of the house. Again. So they are driven away, leaving Abraham, Sarah and Isaac. Okay? Get rid of that slave woman and her son, for that slave woman's son will never share in the inheritance of my son Isaac, says Sarah. उसको निकाल दो और उसको कोई मिलना नहीं है हमारे inheritance से, प्रॉपर्टी वगैरह नहीं मिलना, बिल्कुल मत बोला उसके बारे में. आगे. And well, anyway, doesn't matter this. So this is what happened. आगे. When he says, God, you've already promised Ishmael something. What about Isaac? God comes to him and says, okay, I'm also promising him a divine land. So God promises Abraham one story. He says, I'm promising you a promised land. When Ishmael is gone, he says, I'm promising him also some land and along with him a lot of children. And I'm also promising Isaac some land along with some more children. 3 promises. Do you remember? My third part was divine promise. Nice topic. Okay? Another divine promise to Abraham. Amen. Any which way, he gets him out of the place into a desert called Bir Sheva. If you have to remember my telling you, remember that place. Bir Sheva, you can nikal. Amen. Poor guy, they are in the desert. Pani to tha nahi water, tap water. Mineral water to bilkul nahi tha. They go hungry and thirsty. And Abraham leaves them alone and he continues with his journey in search of promised land. He's already there, but he continues with all these things. Isaac के और भी बच्चे होते हैं. उसका एक का नाम होता है जेकब, एक का नाम होता है ईसाऊ, etc., etc. Remember these words. I'm making it as simple as possible as I can. Yes, sir. And by the end of the day, Abraham dies at the age of 175. Don't ask me questions again. But the Old Testament says so. Yes. Now, on his journey, Abraham is confronted with God many a times. And he tries to prove his loyalty or faithfulness to him. At one point in time, God says, I would like to have your son. Guru Gobind Ji Singh को भी पूछा था कि भैया मुझे आपका बच्चा चाहिए. तो कितने आपके पास सिंह है उनको लाइए, if you can sacrifice them. And then it turns into a different story. He is only testing it, so he tries to kill his own son. It is called important statement I am making. Binding of Isaac. He is holding him with a knife and he is about to cut his throat. But when he was about to do that, God provides him with a ram. बकरे को ले आता है, बोलता भैया, don't worry, don't sacrifice your son. I tested you, you have stood the test, and you can go ahead and sacrifice somebody if I have wanted, and that is the ram. Yes. That is the altar. Remember these. It is very, very important thing. आगे जाइए. Anyway, आगे जाइए. Oh, he keeps going up and down. He gets 2 sons. He dies at the age of 175. Isaac, जो उसका बच्चा होता है, he gets Jacob, Esau, and so on and so forth. And he keeps continuing with his journey. One such character who emerges out of it is Moses. नाम तो सुना होगा. 10 Commandment picture देखी होगी आपने. Moses. Okay? Yeah. Don't worry about all these things. Moses, when he grows up, God comes in his dreams and he says, I am giving you a promised land again, which will be flowing with milk and honey. And then Moses, who was at that point in time, who is the grandson of Abraham, brings his entire clan from Egypt to a place which is today's Israel. And it is very vividly described with a huge amount of write-ups on it called Exodus. Exodus is a mass movement of humans from one place to another. It's not immigration, it's just an exodus. And while doing so, they come across various difficulties. And Moses, who was a very divine man, helps the entire clan to bring them from Egypt to Canaan, or which is now Israel. Whereby he opens up the sea and so on and so forth. If you have seen those 10 Commandments, 10 Commandments are those which are given to Moses by God, saying these are the few conducts that you must take care of. I don't want to go into the details of those things, but he receives a tablet called 10 Commandments. See the movie, it's epic by itself. These are good understandings. I'm only trying to tell you these are very good understandings. It will evolve you into a different human being. Yes. Yet another promise. So God keeps promising for somebody or the other. उसका क्या होता है वो बाद में देखेंगे हम. Anyway, very easy. Here is Moses with 10 Commandments. आगे जाइए. Any which way, Moses gets his people across on the other side, and then he finally gets उनके बच्चे के बच्चे के बच्चे. There is a gentleman called Shaul, and Shaul comes to Israel, and then उसके बच्चे वगैरह वगैरह कर करा के finally another character in the story is called King Herod. And he starts ruling from Jerusalem. Now I am coming to the present situation. King Herod, who is a lineage of Abraham, Moses, blah blah blah, starts ruling Jerusalem, which is today a part of Israel. Yes. Israel at that point in time was under Roman rule. Israel at that point in time was under Roman rule, because Rome was a very huge political entity at that point in time. When Israel was under Roman rule, Mary and Joseph were staying in a place called Nazareth. They come down to a place called Bethlehem, and Mary, despite she being virgin, gives birth to a child called Jesus. Okay? So you must have heard this term called Jesus of Nazareth. In those days, everybody was identified by the place where he grew. Gaokar, Karmarkar, Marathi, Maharashtrian surnames से बहुत सारे कर होते हैं, which is preceded by the name of the village that they come from. South India में भी ऐसा ही होता है. So Jesus was born in a Jew family. Jesus was not a Christ Christian. He started Christianity. Jesus was born in a Jew family, father being Joseph, mother being Mary. Okay? Yes. When he was born in a Jew family, and one fine morning he says, the kingdom of my God is heaven, and I am the king of that kingdom. Romans get threatened. How can anybody else be a king except the Roman king? Jews get threatened because that was a religion. How can anybody start a different faith when there is already a faith in existence? So they, in short, connive together to plot against Christ, and ultimately Christ is crucified. So the connivance of Romans, which is a political party, and the religious party was Jews, come together to see that Christ is no more. Nikal do usko, hata do yahan se. And he was crucified. Where was he crucified? In Jerusalem. Clear? First temple of the Jews was made by King Herod in Jerusalem. Important points, milestone. Crucifixion of Christ in Jerusalem. What is important here is, somebody has not asked me yet. All these three people started something which was very unique and which changed the entire face of this earth. A monotheistic religion. A monotheistic religion would mean only one and one God alone, as against polytheistic religions, which is Hinduism. We have billions of gods. We have reason to have those gods, and we believe in those things. But these guys believe that there is only one God, and that's it. A monotheistic faith was created by these two people. Okay? Again. After Christ started making his sermons and creating some miracles to prove a point that he was a divine human being, it took 300 years for the entire world to accept Christianity after he died. You have to understand and accept this part. Has anybody been to Rome? If not, and if you have been, and if you are going to go next time, go and visit the place called Catacombs. Not very many people go to Rome and visit Catacombs. Have you been to Catacombs? You only see the monuments of Rome, which is amazingly good. But Catacombs of Rome are the most important thing from my point of view. Second thing on the wish list before you die. Catacombs of Rome. Catacombs of Rome were created by Christians. Let me give you a small background. It is a little bifurcation from my subject right now, but to only prove a point, a man can go to any extent to uphold his faith. Christianity was banned because Jews were against it and Romans were against it. But yet Christianity was being practiced because people believed in that faith, and they were practicing it surreptitiously or secretly. They had symbols. A symbol of a fish was a Christian symbol, and there were some secret symbols that they were doing. Christianity believed in one thing, which was absolutely digressing from what others' faith were believing. Romans believed in cremation, like what Hindus do. And Christianity was being practiced under the Roman rule. When a Christian died, he had to be buried, not jalate nahi the. So to uphold the faith, these Christians used to bury the Christian very secretly, out of the limits of the town or the village or wherever. Then many Christians were being killed by the Roman politicians. So what did they do? There was not enough place to do it in the open. So they started digging tunnels inside. So there is a tunnel, for example, you go down 200 feet and then you start digging the tunnel. On both the sides is a bare wall. So they would make graves on the sides of the wall and bury the Christians. Understand? Catacombs of Rome are some such places, which is a labyrinth of tunnels. You can get lost in that. Just for example, the longest tunnel is 57 miles. A maze of tunnels with almost about 2 lakh graves. How many? 2 lakh graves. People used to take their dead bodies out of the Roman limits, go down 200 feet and then dig tunnels on the side and start doing it. And there were at least some such 60 catacombs all around Rome. Most of them are closed, only 5 are open today. Catacomb of Donatella is one of the most famous. Please visit it next time you go. It's a must for everybody to understand what extent a human being can go to uphold his faith. They could have just buried it only until submission of the Roman rule, but they did not. But they decided to bury that instead of cremating it. Okay? So this is the kind of people who died for this. I'm only coming to that. अगर तुम्हारे दिमाग में से आप भगवान निकाल दो ना, you are much better off person. Not that I am proposing that. Please don't. What happened? We left these two people alone in the desert of Beersheba. Who? Hagar and Ishmael. उनको तो छोड़ दिया हमने, भूल गया हम. Let's get back to that for a minute. When Hagar and Ishmael were running for water because they were in desert, there was no food, nothing at all. Hagar, the mother of Ishmael, was praying to God and going from one mountain to the other mountain, looking for some water. And Hagar, who was a small child, was kicking around, and when he kicked at one point, again he was a divine human being, out came water. Out came water, and it was a gushing spring of water. It wouldn't stop. So Hagar said, Zam, Zam, stop it, which today is called Zamzam. There is a story to this. If somebody asks you, who is responsible for Zamzam? Ishmael. It is Ishmael. Ishmael kicked it. Yeah? So, kahan gaya? Any which way, so that is what it is. Yes. Zamzam. Okay? At that point in time, they were in a place called Arabia, Beersheba, and there was a small platform on which they had series of gods or deities. Okay? And this particular spring is almost about 200 feet away from that platform. Just remember this. Okay? The series of gods were on that huge platform, and next to that, 200 feet away, was this well or a spring today called Zamzam, which is a very holy water for any Muslim. He'll do anything to get that water. Okay? This is Zamzam well in 1800. Aage jaiye sir. This is what it is today. And where is it? It is in Makkah, where all the pious Muslims go to perform Hajj. Aage jaiye sir.